I'm going to show you some meal prep ideas, and I wanted to start with one of my staples that I can actually serve for dinner and then use the leftovers throughout the week for lunch, or I can just make in advance for lunch. So what I'm going to show you is it's a little bit of a manipulation of a recipe from Dr. Furman's Eat to Live, which is a vegan based plan, and I followed it and I had a lot of success. I lost a lot of weight, especially after my second pregnancy. Then other people noticed and wanted to know what I was doing, and I know both males and females. I know males and females. What?
I'm watching a movie.
Okay. Sienna loves to make a cameo. I know males and females who had a ton of success on the program, so if you're interested, again, it's called Eat to Live, and it's by Dr. Joel Furman, who's actually based in New Jersey. So this is called an eggplant roll-up. I'm going to start with an eggplant, and I'm at the end of my week here on my veggies, and I couldn't go out today because it's snowing a lot, so this eggplant has seen better days. It's okay, it's all going to taste the same. I also have 2 peppers. I have a green and an orange one, it's just what I had. Again, they don't look great. An onion, I'm not going to use the whole thing. A handful of what survived a week in my fridge of cherry tomatoes. A little rib of celery. You don't want a whole lot, just enough to add that fresh flavor. A clove of garlic. And then I have just a store-bought, I know, but a store-bought tomato basil sauce. You can use marinara if you want. But what I do if I'm buying store-bought sauce, like if I know I'm not going to have time to cook on a Sunday, and we were at a wrestling tournament all day yesterday, I was not about to come home and cook. And it was Valentine's Day, so I'm not cooking. So what I definitely make sure though is I always check the ingredients. I always buy low sodium right away. And then I check the ingredients to make sure that there's no added sugar, because tomatoes already have a lot of sugar in them just on their own. You don't need to add sugar to it to get it to be sweet. So this one has whole tomatoes, onions, olive oil, basil, garlic, salt, spices. Sugars, 4 grams. So you're looking for about 4 grams, and that's in a 1/2 cup serving. Why are you looking at me? Don't look at me. Anyway, so I'm getting judged over here. So, eggplant roll-ups. Watch this. I'm going to take my eggplant. I'm going to cut off the ends. Okay? Just like that. We don't have to seed eggplant. You can totally eat the seeds. I do like to peel mine though. I'm just not a big fan of the skin. I don't like the texture of it when it's cooked. People say that when it's cooked right, you'll love it. I've had it cooked right, and I just don't like it. So I just peel it. There's no science to it. Now, these are going to be cut into long strips, this eggplant is. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it on a baking tray and throw it in the oven at 360 degrees. And we're just going to let that cook up for a little bit because then it's going to be soft and you're going to be able to roll it, which is the whole point of calling it an eggplant roll-up. Okay, so feel a little bit picky down at the bottom, making sure that I'm getting that skin off because I just really don't like it. All right, so again, you are not cutting it this way. You are cutting it this way. Okay, cutting it into long pieces. You want them to be thin enough that they're gonna cook up, but not so thin that they disintegrate in the oven, which I've had happen. So if it happens to you, I'm right there with you. Learn from my mistakes, people. Okay, let's take a look at this. I wish I could tell you how much of an inch that is in thickness, but I can't because I'm an English teacher, not a math major. So if you look at that, what is that? That's about the width of my pinky. Let's go with that. Width of your pinky. So I want to make sure that they're all kind of the same length. And this meal might not get me through the whole week, but that's okay. I might have to revisit my kitchen again on a Wednesday. This might be a good one where you do a big salad and then you just pack 1 or 2 of these to have on the side. My husband just walked past doing laundry. He's the best. I am the worst. Okay, there we go. So this one, way too thick. I gotta make sure that I cut it again. Ready? Look at this precision. There you go. And then I'm just going to cut the top off of it because like I said, you want to make sure that it cooks through. This is not a meal where we're trying to be married to the kitchen for the next 2 hours. Okay, toss that. So like I said, I've already lined a tray, just a regular cookie sheet with foil, and then I went ahead and sprayed it with some non-stick spray, you know, just to help the cause. Skin, ugh. Okay. I'm just laying it on there. I'm going to throw it in the oven.
Mommy.
What, Sienna?
Mommy.
What?
Casey cleaned his room.
Chase has cleaned his room, ladies and gentlemen.
I got box.
In case you're wondering, what's up, Chase? All right. So honestly, the trickiest part here is just kind of getting them all laid out and organized. Mine are overlapping a little bit. It's probably not best practice. God, my phone is blowing up. I'm so popular. That's probably not best practice that I have them all overlapping, but it's okay. So these are going to do their thing in there. Like I said, the reason we're cooking them is not to roast them. We're just trying to get them soft so that they're pliable so we can roll them and they kind of stick together. 360 for, I don't know, maybe like 10, 12, 15 minutes. So I'm going to check on them in a minute. Okay, now while those are in the oven, clear your workspace. What I love about this meal, I'm not jumping between cutting boards because everything is veggie based. It's not like I have to clean it, and because I've got chicken on it. Sorry, I had to throw that away. They don't show you that stuff on Food Network, but somebody's getting paid to do it. So I'm going to take my little tomatoes. Even though I'm using a tomato sauce, I just like putting these in. They just have a nice little pop to them when you're biting them. So I guess it's for the texture more than anything. Okay, my kids are actually getting along right now, which is surprising. You're lucky you don't hear a bunch of screaming. But the night is young, so that could change. Okay, got those all cut. Rib of celery. Ready? Show off your celery skills. I'm cutting it thin because I don't want it to take a long time to cook. Okay, one piece there. So I cut up a small rib of celery. Like I said, it's another texture thing because it gives it a nice crunch because you're eating a lot of softer foods. But it's also just kind of fresh. It's a fresh veggie to use. Orange pepper. Easiest way for me to slice an orange pepper. I mentioned this before if you ever watched me make an Italian sausage meal. I just cut around the seeds so that I'm not actually doing any work to the seeds. Take that up in your room to play with.
I'm playing with him too.
I know you are. Okay. I have like one section of my house clean and I don't want them making a mess out of the one part that makes it look like I have my life together. Okay, cut those. Now I'm going to dice them. Now remember, your eggplant is in the oven the whole time. It's cooking up. While it's doing that, you're going to go ahead and start dicing up veggies, which you're now going to all put together. And you're going to saute them until they get soft. You're going to add in a little bit of that sauce, that tomato basil or whatever kind of sauce you like, whether it's store-bought or homemade. Totally up to you. If you made marinade, totally up to you. Okay, so I'm dicing up veggies. I just cut them in strips. Line the strips back up and then cut them again. So I've got nice little dices. See that? Looking about that long. So finishing with my green. Then I'm going to move to the rest of my orange pepper. Then I'll still have to cut up my onion. I'm only going to use probably like a quarter of the onion. I'm just going to see how it compares to the other veggies. That's one of those things where you just have to eyeball what you have left because onions vary so much in size. I mean, for the most part, a pepper is a pepper is a pepper. It's going to be the same size pretty much. But okay. Orange pepper. If you have red, you can use red. I love red peppers. You can use yellow. Orange and yellow peppers are always the most expensive because they look so fancy. Green peppers and red peppers are a little bit more hardy when it comes to growing them. So it's easier for farmers to grow them. So they grow more of them. And that's a whole supply and demand thing. So since there are more green peppers available, they are cheaper. So you could do this with just green peppers if you wanted. It's totally your call. All right, so I'm finishing up with my orange pepper. Knife skill for you. Ready? This piece never leaves your chopping board or your cutting board. See how I'm doing that? I would love to watch you as I do that, but I will cut my finger off. Not a good look on YouTube. All right, onion I'm going to do last. Garlic clove, put it down, put this on here, smash it. It's an easy way to peel it, or at least an easier way. You could, if you wanted, you could kind of cut up all your vegetables into rough chunks, not like nice fine ones like we've got here, and just throw it into a food processor and let the food processor do the work on pulse. You could totally do that if you wanted. I just washed my food processor, and it's a pain in the butt to wash all those pieces, so I'm being picky and stubborn and not doing it. All right. I'm adding garlic in. What? Anyway, I'm adding garlic in. So right now, even with me stopping to yak with you, it's been under 12 minutes a little bit. So the actual cooking work is about to start. This prep we're almost done with. Okay. Onion. Cut your ends off, just like so. Cut it one more time into that first little ring. Separate it like this, like so. And then just pull it around. It looks so tough right now. There we go. Just like that. It smells nice and fresh. I'm probably only going to use, I don't know, maybe like a quarter of it. Just as I'm eyeballing. So let's say a quarter of an onion. Again, it could be any onion you want. You could use red, yellow. If you have a leftover onion or part of one, you could use it. You know, we're not looking for exact science. Remember, you might think that you don't like onion, but the taste of it and the smell are not the same once it's been cooked. Most onions, especially like yellow onions or sweet onions, actually get a little bit of a sweeter taste to them. You could swap out this onion for fennel if you wanted. You could leave out the onion altogether. Okay, totally up to you. I'm assuming my kids are not killing each other or killing themselves right now, so it's a good day. All right, look at that. Look at that rainbow of colors. So now, my job is going to be to saute it up. All right, let's go. Boom, let's take a trip. I have the smallest kitchen of all time, so this is convenient. All right, I've got a pan. Remember, everything's cooking on the egg, or all the eggplants cooking downstairs, down below. Spray. Doesn't matter if you use olive oil or canola. Look at that. Look at our seltzer game over there. Our seltzer game is strong. So I'm heating this up. I've got it probably like right at medium heat, not medium high, not medium low, just right at medium heat. This is where I'm going to start cooking up all my veggies. I'm looking for my peppers to get tender, like I could pierce them with a fork, and I'm looking for my onion to be totally translucent. I could see through it, okay? I'm gonna check on my eggplant. It actually looks like it's already good to go. I'm going to grab out my eggplant so I can show you what that's looking like. You want to give it a little bit of a chance to cool off anyway because you want to be able to actually touch it. But if you look, see how it bends? It is pliable. I'm just going to squeeze that to the side, grab my veggies. Toss these right in. Now remember, we're not relying on this process to completely cook them. They are going to be in the oven. But you still want them to be soft, like I said. So I got all my veggies. They're in here. I'm still on medium heat. I'm going to saute them up. Then I'm going to end up rolling up all of my eggplant. Eventually, everything's going to go in here. I'm going to spread a little bit of sauce on here, which I'm also going to add into my veggie mix on here once this starts to soften. You don't want to put the sauce in ahead of time because it's going to take the veggies a really long time to cook in the sauce. Get them nice and soft first. Start blending in your sauce. My eggplant is sitting over here. It's cooling off. I'm going to do a dabble of sauce here. I'm going to spread it around, kind of like if you've ever made lasagna. It's the same thing. Spread it around. You can even spray this with a non-stick spray. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do it while I'm thinking about it. I'm going to cook up my veggies. Once I've done all of that work, I'm going to take my eggplant. I'm going to lay it here. I'm going to put my veggie mix in there. I'm going to roll it. See how it sits like that? I'm going to roll it. I'm going to top it with more sauce. And then if you're feeling a little bit dangerous, you can actually take some shredded mozzarella, like very small amount. We're talking less than a quarter cup for the whole thing. And you can top it. And then you throw it in and bake it off until that cheese is starting to get bubbly, or until you can start to see your sauce bubble. Okay? I'll make sure that I check back in with you at the end of this to show you what all of that looks like. But for right now, I'll give you time to do these steps. Okay? So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so I just finished cooking up my veggies. It took me about 10 minutes or so. I added in probably a quarter of a cup of sauce, maybe even a third. There's what my veggies look like. They're really hot. My eggplant, I've already started a couple pieces. They're starting to hate each other. I already started a couple pieces of eggplant in here. Now we're gonna roll them really tightly. So you're gonna add more eggplant in, so don't worry about that. Don't think that you've wasted your eggplant. Okay, ready? Veggie mix, it's gonna go, I'm like putting it in the middle. Okay, I'm gonna take this. My eggplant has cooled off, so it's not going to burn my hand. And I've rolled it nice and tight. Take my next piece. Remember, you can add cheese to this if you want on top. Don't use a lot, because then that defeats the purpose of being a super healthy meal. I have been very indulgent this weekend because of Valentine's Day and, you know, it was the weekend. And this is like a good get back on track meal. Oh, really quickly, if you notice how this end is smaller, I almost laid it like this. Make sure you flip it so that you're rolling the thin end all the way, right? The smaller end, so that it smushes over. Okay, your filling won't fall out that way. Okay. So I'm doing a heaping tablespoon of the filling, the veggie filling. And do quality control. As you're cooking your veggies, if you end up not liking the flavor of it on its own, if you know, I really don't want you using salt, but if you want to add in more garlic powder. It just depends on the brand of sauce that you purchased. Okay, I'm just kind of, this one was a little stubborn, so I squished it down. What's great is because of that the moistness of it from cooking. It's kind of like a glue. It's kind of sticky. This one's a weird shaped one. I'm just gonna do a little bit of filling in there. Like I said, I would do a couple of these and maybe a salad or a soup to bring to lunch. If you're going to eat more than one or two, if you want to make it a whole meal, you're probably going to pack around 4. That depends. But what's great is this is an easy meal to really throw together, and it doesn't feel like a typical lunch. That's what I love about it. Okay, keep working. My husband is trying to referee downstairs the chaos that is this time of night. I know that my kids should be in bed because I should be a really good mom and do that, but I decided to film myself for YouTube instead, just for you guys. This one I'm out of room. I'm going to do it on top and then squish it in. I'm going to find a place for it. This is going to end up working out perfectly in terms of how much stuffing or filling I've used. Ready? Shove that one in. Here we go again. This is my last one. So this took up a whole eggplant. This is a great dinner. Even if you're not vegan, Even if your family's not eating like you're eating, this is a great dinner for the whole family. My husband loves it. He actually likes it with sliced roasted red pepper. You could add mushrooms in if you wanted. Okay, so let's look at how it looks. See that? Now, take my sauce and take my spoon. This is bad, but you don't do that if you're cooking for a bunch of people. It's just for me. I don't care. Ready? Spooning it across. This is like the kind of meal where it's almost like you're eating the toppings for pizza. Except it's healthy. So you're going to use as much sauce or as little sauce as you like. You just want to make sure that it's enough that it doesn't dry out. Now, once again, if you were going to use cheese, now's the time to put some on. We're talking a quarter cup or just under a quarter cup. That's how much I'm going to use. I'm going to throw it in the oven, and it's going to look beautiful when it's done. It's going to look like a fancier version of this. Remember, we're putting it in, and we're keeping an eye on it until it starts to bubble. My veggies are going to be softened, but I'll still have a little bit of a bite. Did you hear that? They're still going to have a little bit of a bite. I'm somebody who brings 2 of these to work, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have a 4-day week this week, so my lunches are pretty much done for the week. I would definitely pack a piece of fruit on the side, probably like a pear or something. Okay, so boom, lunch is done.